Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here, and in today's video we are going to talk about loot boxes and gambling. Now I know I don't usually make videos about gaming news in general, it's more focused on specific video games, but I do want to make a video about this situation. Back when Battlefront 2 launched, with its egregious loot box system, so the fact that you could get start cards in loot boxes, and that was the progression system in Battlefront 2, it sparked quite a big scandal. And upon that, a lot of countries and states started studying the subject of, are loot boxes gambling? Because I mean, you can buy it with real world money, and it's kind of like playing roulette. It's a chance game. You're not certain of what you're gonna get, and it's never 100%. You don't even have the percentage written of what you can get in that specific loot box. So a lot of states were starting to look at maybe declaring it as gambling or even illegal to have loot boxes in video games. So following this, a lot of stuff unfolded, and recently Belgium declares loot boxes gambling and therefore are illegal. So the Belgian Gaming Commission looked at Star Wars Battlefront 2, FIFA 18, Overwatch, and Counter-Strike: A Global Offensive. Of course, at the time of studying these video games, Battlefront 2 did not have any loot boxes, seeing as they were removed following the big fiasco that happened. And after looking at these games, the Belgian Gaming Commission actually declared that it was gambling. The loot boxes in these specific games were gambling. Now, this is a small percentage of the games that we have on the market right now, and probably about 90% of the games out there have microtransactions, and maybe 75% of those are loot boxes with random chances to get items. So a statement from Minister of Justice Cohen Greens said that FIFA 18, Overwatch, and CSGO were therefore illegal and demanded their loot boxes be removed. If they're not, the publishers risk a prison sentence of up to 5 years and a fine of up to 800,000 euros, which is absolutely massive. And also, when minors are involved, those punishments can be doubled, Greens added. So that's quite a massive statement by the Belgian government here, or the Minister of Justice, Cohen Greens. They are not playing around with this, and it is a serious issue, and they don't want loot boxes in video games anymore. So when I heard about the official verdict of the loot box gambling thing happening in Belgium, I started thinking about a bunch of possibilities of what the hell could happen to video games. Because I mean, I'm going to start off here with, first of all, will games retroactively have loot boxes removed in Belgium? So older games that not as many people play and might have been overlooked, for example, past games such as Call of Duty Black Ops 3 or something of the sort, it's games that already had loot boxes in them, or even like FIFA 16 or some other games that are a little bit older, have less people playing, but people play them nonetheless. Do these games have to remove their loot boxes as well? Is it retroactive? What's going to happen to these games? And then what happens to the games right now? So the games that are massively popular, I'm thinking about PUBG, Battlefield 1, CSGO, which is still very popular, Overwatch, Star Wars Battlefront 2, FIFA 18, all of these games that have loot boxes in them that are considered gambling now, according to the Belgian government. What happens to these games? Is there a special version released for Belgium? Do they get a special version just for their country? So what's going to happen with the microtransactions? Are they just going to make the skins, for example, purchasable outright? For example, $1 a skin or something of the sort, or depending on the rarity of the skin, $1, $2, $50, $5. Are they just going to be able to buy them outright? And then what will be the repercussions of that? Because if Belgium has a special game just for them, a special version of the game where either there are no microtransactions, which would highly surprise me if there wasn't microtransactions in a game, if they didn't figure a way to still implement microtransactions, and two, other gamers are going to we're going to want a piece of the pie as well if you can literally buy the skins outright as opposed to pay crazy amounts of money to have a chance at getting something that you want. Other gamers are going to want this in other countries as well, not just in Belgium. So what's going to happen to all the other games in all the other countries? Are they going to have to do the same thing? I'm sure there's going to be a massive uprising of all the other gamers that have to still pay for loot boxes. So it's all these things that came to mind. What's going to happen with the video game industry? now that Belgium has declared that loot boxes are illegal. According to the articles that I read, of course, there is no due date to have loot boxes or microtransactions that are considered a form of gambling removed. So there's no date by which it has to be done, but it still has to be done nonetheless. Now, I'm sure the ruling document is quite hefty in itself. There's probably a lot of clauses in there so that the publisher cannot find any loophole to, still implement these types of microtransactions that are considered gambling into the game. Because currently you have to buy their coins to buy the loot boxes with them. For example, in Star Wars Battlefront 2, you buy credits to then purchase the loot boxes. So that could be something that the publishers are already thinking of. And trust me, they're like, well, you're not really buying loot boxes because you're buying credits. You know what you're getting, but then you're spending the credits on these loot boxes, which have the random chances of getting a skin that you want. So is it still considered gambling then, because you know that you're buying credits for the game? I'm sure experts within publishing companies are thinking of ways to still find a loophole in this ruling to still implement these types of microtransactions. So it's all a game of what's going to happen in the near future to loot boxes in video games. Are we going to have the chances declared? And even at that, it would probably still be considered gambling, seeing as there's not you don't have a certain thing for your money, so you don't have what you want. It's just a chance at getting what you want. So maybe we're going to see something in the form of microtransactions where you can buy the things outright instead of just pulling a lever and having a chance at getting what you want. So I really want to start a discussion here. I could probably go on about this for a longer time. I didn't want to make a too long video. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it can have repercussions across video game industry as a whole, as opposed to just, specific to Belgium and countries that deemed it illegal to have loot boxes in video games. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. If you have any other ideas about what possibly can happen with the video games across the world and the video game industry in itself. And while down there, be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.